because it sounds stupid then, but it's something that's just, it's a conversation about topics that are of interest to the general public.
Well,
it may not be interesting to them, but it's interesting to us.
Yes.
Are we recording a podcast for us to download?
Yes, exactly.
Well, pretty much.
So we can reminisce on the subjects.
I also noticed that the line there is moving, which means that we have begun, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you got to start somehow.
Oh,
That is true.
Might as well just start.
Yes, this podcast is brought to you by smoking. 5 out of 5 doctors recommend smoking for pregnant women and children.
Or not.
It builds character early.
It builds character early.
Oh, it's.
Yeah, maybe if you're like a 50-year-old man on your deathbed, sure.
Well, not every 50-year-old man's dying. Did anyone see the Vikings game today? No.
You know I don't watch sports.
That's a legitimate 88-year-old Bud Grant, who was previously the coach for...
I feel like you're making this up.
No.
Yeah.
88-year-old... I'm not making this up. 88-year-old Bud Grant, who was previously the coach for the Minnesota Vikings during the 70s, took him to 4 Super Bowls, lost all 4, but that's literally 4 more Super Bowls than I've been to.
Okay.
3 less than me, but okay.
Well,
They
yeah.
were... Well, it was a good year he had with Miami.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, I thought he was the Vikings. They're not Miami.
He was with... I know, he played for the Vikings.
You did. I forgot your sports career.
Yes.
So Bud Grant, Minnesota, this is the coldest playoff game in history. Before the wind
cold
chill...
out today. I'm sorry, it's like negative
Yes.
10 to 20 degrees.
That's
with
correct.
Wind chill.
Before the wind chill, it was negative 10 degrees out in Minnesota with the wind chill. And mind you, they have a dome stadium, so the wind just kind of gets in and funnels through. It was negative 25 with wind chill. And they bring out this former coach who's 88 now to do the coin flip at the start of the game.
Did he have a heart attack as soon as he flipped the coin?
No, this is what a badass Bud Grant was, is he comes out in a golf polo shirt, and that's it. No jacket, just a golf polo shirt. So, my point is, just because you're old doesn't mean you're dying. Sometimes you might just put on your golf polo shirt and say, this will be enough for the Vikings.
Yeah, but I really want him to, freeze when he flipped the coin, halfway through the flip.
Just in the air.
It's just the
So
coin.
let's just be absolutely clear on this. Bull enjoys watching old people die.
No, no, you got me wrong. Okay, I just have visions of things that might play out, and they're usually wrong.
Okay. We should probably say who we are.
Yeah, we should have introed this a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah, who's the intro? Who's who?
Okay, so, because this is because we're in your
I'm
mother's
Bull.
basement, you should go first.
Mother's basement? This is my house, boy!
Okay, who, the man
We're not even in a
with
basement.
the plan.
It's a room.
It's a fine room.
Alright, we got, for those of you listening, and I use listening with a large number of quotation marks around it.
Just background noise while they're sitting in the gym.
Exactly. This is did we even agree on a name for this yet? I think it was Shooting the Bull.
I like Shoot the Bull.
Shoot the Bull? Alright, that's pretty
Okay.
good.
Yeah, and I'm Bull, which is kind of where it all originates from, but then everybody comes together.
Exactly.
It would have worked better than bullshitting. So.
Well, that's what I wanted to call it, but
It's really
Bulls-
hard for you to promote that.
It is hard
Exactly.
to promote that, but Shoot the Bull is pretty easy.
I
Exactly.
like it. It's simple. It's kind of
funny.
it's something you'd expect a man cow segment to be.
Okay, so
Except we're not man cow.
I understand.
We're
He's
more
worth,
entertaining.
tons of money, and he
He's
is
kind
actually
of a
the same
jackass.
age. He's actually the same age.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
That's what he's. Oh well, he's
No,
lied to me.
He's a liar. He's a liar.
All right.
I'm positive he's not 28. No, the man's been on the radio for 15 years.
Longer than most of us have been alive. Well, most of our audience has been alive anyway. So we've got the one.
I'm gonna leave this up while you keep talking. Yeah.
That's
the one and the only Bull, who is already an internet phenomenon.
I just stream.
An internet celebrity
He's
beyond
49.
compare.
He's not even close to 27.
Oh no.
He's almost 50.
I told you. He's been streaming for he's almost Bud Grant.
And the
He's gonna die during a coin flip.
the second man here, the meat of the conversational sandwich here.
He is sitting in the middle.
Is who are you?
What
Vin Diesel?
What name? Rock Studley. John. I really don't.
We can just call you Ray. It's really easy.
Yeah, let's go with Ray, because that's definitely, I've been working really hard at it for 26 years.
Yes.
You don't mess with success.
You don't have we'll figure out a nickname for you in the stream later tonight.
That is adequate.
And I am.
It goes by Endo.
Yes, when I am on your stream, that is correct. But
Okay. Well, if you don't want that to be your nickname, it doesn't have to be your nickname.
no,
it doesn't.
No, I'm okay.
All right, and I am Ryan.
So boring. Like, Ray kind of works because you can kind of do like slang or just talk it and say your name's Ray.
Well, I definitely can.
Yeah.
Well, it is your name.
That's my name.
I mean, my name's Jason, but like, I like Bull because, yeah.
Well, many people, and by that I mean probably 5 or 6, know me as the comedian.
I like
because
TC.
I'm not a fan of jokes. I don't like humor, and it's an ironic.
You don't
nickname.
like humor.
It's an ironic
No, he
nickname.
doesn't.
Actually, that's true. Is that true with a lot of other comedians, though?
Some comedians are not funny. Yes.
Well, no. Not the fact that comedians aren't funny, is that comedians don't laugh at other comedians. Is that a thing?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't.
I would say it's largely not true. There is, and there's this great comedian out there, Bill Burr, who I don't know if you've ever heard.
He's that great.
I know
This beer is horrible, by the way.
I know.
Continue.
I know you know Bill Burr.
Yes,
and
I've heard of him.
And you may be familiar with him as well.
He's bald, right? I've got an image of a pasty bald man in my head.
Yeah, and he's from Massachusetts, so pretty much he's probably Irish too.
Yes.
Massachusetts? I don't even
So
know this guy.
Bill, you know Bill Burr.
You probably do.
you
I
probably
probably
seen him.
do. I just don't know his name.
You might
That's
not be
fair.
connecting
You
the
know-
image with the name.
You
Yeah.
know him in, this is a really awful example because he's done some excellent stand-ups, but this is a really awful example, but you would have known him from Breaking Bad, if you remember the two guys who
I've never
worked
seen Breaking Bad. Tell me more.
It is, I can't tell if this is a joke or if I can legitimately reference Breaking Bad for you.
Yes, I've seen Breaking Bad.
Okay, the two guys who worked for Saul,
Okay.
there was Huel, the big black guy, and then there was the
bald
skinnier. Yeah, that's Bill Burr.
Oh, that's Bill Burr.
That's
oh.
Bill Burr. But that's, like I said, that's a bad example because he's an exceptional comedian.
He is? 'Cause he plays a really serious role on that.
Yeah, no. He's actually very, very funny. He does some podcasts as well, and he does, I think, a few radio tie-ins. The guy's very busy.
Well, you got that.
But he was brought out for this Opie and Andy tour, and went out to, I believe it was in Philadelphia, this particular tour stop. And there's like 4 comedians before him, and everyone in Philadelphia in the audience was being loud and disruptive and essentially getting impatient with all the comics. So finally,
you mean people that are drunk?
I said Philadelphia.
It's a fair assumption.
Yeah. It's so Bill Burr comes out, and they're not quieting down, and he's pissed off at this point. So then he goes on, instead of doing his set, he goes on a 12-minute tirade on why Philadelphia is awful. And it's honestly, and he just sits there and he berates them, and eventually the audience turns around to their side. The reason I brought it up is because there's quite a few comedians who took that moment and said that is one of the best moments in comedy they've ever seen. Like, it's inspiring to them. So comedians do enjoy other comedians. I think you have to work in that, kind of work in that
I don't
scene.
know. People are pretty selfish or self-conscious to where the point they think they're better than other people. Doesn't matter what field you work in.
Yeah, but comedy's also one that you will bust your ass for a long time being largely unknown, and I think that, at least early on, humbles people. You're going to be, a lot of the guys who came up together, SNL in the 90s was a really good example of it, because you had a bunch of people who were doing, probably ran into each other doing stand-up. And in that regard, they're kind of, they're used to, like, we went through the same grind.
Oh,
It's
come
kind
on.
of like a boot camp.
What about the point where you're the odd man out, and it's like, oh,
Comedians also
this
tend to be
guy's
very.
here.
They tend to be very self-aware.
Yes.
Especially with observational humor, which is particularly Seinfeld brought that into prominence. But what I would like to do is redirect this towards what was supposed to be the introduction.
This is the introduction.
What was supposed to be the introductory topic, which is, Bull, you already have an online presence. This is what we're doing here.
Well, I have an online community built from Twitch.
Exactly.
The whole point of the podcast is so that we can have our conversation and then have a topic to just discuss.
I know, but one of the topics I want to discuss is what you're already doing. Just make that a short little part of this episode. That way, it relates into the the online presence you already have.
Hi, my name is Bull.
Well, yeah, but not do that, but not like you're an asshole. Can you do that? Can you do that?
Well, all right. My name is Bull. My real name is Jason. I stream on Twitch daily to just interact with viewers.
Where can people go to?
Oh, you want the actual direction? Then?
Yeah, like how can people see you on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/8ULL because BULL was taken, and it's taken on so many different gaming genres that I have to use a letter as a number.
You mean
a number as a letter?
Okay, it's all right.
Right.
Bull's been drinking. Don't worry.
I don't drink, but
okay.
I have to use a number as a letter because the letter's gone.
Okay.
And I feel like there should not be people named Bull unless it's me.
Well, that's fair.
Well, yeah.
Okay. You're one of those self-centered comedians.
All right, you know what though? It's really weird because I had to make a PlayStation Network account.
Yeah.
And I went through like multiple names. Like I go through 8ULL. I go through Bull. I went 8ULL.
Mm-hmm.
I go through I am 8ULL. I went to 8ULL Streamer. I went to 8ULL Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the names were gone.
That's incredible.
So I like.
Well, not really, but okay.
8ULL Twitch?
I think
I think that's what I had to land on. I had to use 8ULL Twitch.
I was going to say, it's very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was like everyone just started to want my name.
Or maybe
but when you
wanted your name.
When you search 8ULL on the Googles.
Oh, yeah.
It shows up all of my social network and stuff. There's nothing else really there.
Okay.
Are we going to take this moment to promote Google, the new search engine?
Yes, well, Google, our sponsors, has always directed us to where we needed to go.
Replaced smoking as our latest sponsor. Now we're sponsored by Google.
We did
Virginia Slims.
You've come a long way, baby. That's a reference to Virginia Slim's advertising campaign from the 90s. You know, that decade where most of you were born. Most of you who are listening to us.
And that you all might be smoking.
Yeah, you could be. Legally or otherwise. But, okay,
hey,
so...
you know what? It's their choice whether they want to smoke or not, okay?
Well, their lungs.
That's right.
I would like to know what you do on Twitch, Bull, because I know what you do, but maybe not everyone listening knows what you do.
Well, I play video games.
And video games are what?
Well, you see, it's a series of electronic inputs put into a digital screen where there's colors and graphics and controls which move around those colors and graphics.
So it's like an interactive talkie.
Yes, but largely they've come a long way now. In fact, I believe just recently the Odyssey 2 came out.
Really?
Yes. They have multiple games. They've got game 3, and they've got one that I think is, I think you play golf. I'm not 100% sure.
Ooh, that does sound pleasant.
Well,
and you
though.
play these Magnavox Odyssey television home entertainment systems for people streaming it over ARPANET, correct?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how this works. It is all old technology with ancient hardware, all smashed into one.
You just
where you can look at it on your mobile phone, which is the size of a book.
Oh, dude. The size of or a brick. We're pretending that this is the era of brick phones.
No, seriously though.
Okay. Yes.
One of the hardest things I have to do is explain to people what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I wear the Bull merchandise hat, it has an 8 on it. So people either think I'm an 8-ball, I really like the number 8,
That's very
or they're just confused.
I can see all three.
And then when they go on to ask, okay, why is your name Bull? Well, you gotta grab life by the horns. No.
Actually, yes.
It was a nickname given to me, but I really embraced it as one of my own. So
Yes.
I really like to be identified by it. And from that, I have to explain that I'm streaming a video game that people want to watch me play and talk to me through a chat system. And they say, oh, so they can talk to you and you can hear them? No. They type on the keyboard and I read
text.
and talk back to them. Who would want to do that? Well, okay. I just play video games. Well, do you play like the brand new releases and stuff? No, I kind of play similar games, on a schedule. Wouldn't that get boring for your audience? It would, I guess, but they still come back.
People
I've
like
actually tried
familiar.
it. I've actually tried it where I play multiple games, one new game every day. Less people want to come back.
People
When you're
like
playing the
familiar.
same exact game, more and more will keep coming back. So that repetition is nice.
Well, it is
But-
worth specializing to some degree.
Yeah, but I still want that variety in there. I don't want to just be one game where I'm
Yeah.
streaming.
Yeah.
I want to be able. I don't get bored.
True, because you're the one who is actually
Yeah.
playing it.
Exactly. But I also can't play really high-paced, fast games where I focus on the game only.
Yes.
Because I want the interaction with me and the audience. And some games I just can't do it because I have to either pay attention to what's being said, and I really enjoy storylines. So if I'm reading the story, I'm not reading chat.
Yes.
So I really like games that have talk to you and have
Oh, yeah.
short dialogue, not a novel that they read to you, sit there forever like,
It'd be difficult.
is this coming? And
It would be difficult to play Planescape Torment. Then.
yeah, something like that. Exactly. So good mixture games.
Because this is just a visual and not, or this is just audio, not visual. I want the audience to know that Ray made a hilarious face when I mentioned Planescape Torment. I think in large part because we're both big fans of classic RPGs, and most people listening to this probably don't know what Planescape is.
I do recommend Planescape Torment largely, even though it is it's largely dialogue based. I would argue that combat needs a bit of work, but it's an
I
experience
do like
like
story games though.
you would.
But they're
I think
just
you would
difficult to
appreciate
stream.
this.
I just can't stream it very well.
Yeah.
I don't feel like my audience would receive it well. Because it either be me reading it out loud, and then my voice gets tired and I get bored.
Yes.
Or me just reading it, sitting there, and then it's just dead silence or like an audio background music while I'm sitting there reading it like the audience is.
Well, one thing I would like to try doing, maybe we could even do this tonight or something, is have some, because I mean, I don't know how long you're going to be here, Ray. I'll probably just stay here all night, especially through the stream. We could do a game that's similar to that has different characters speaking, and because I'm such an attention whore and I love doing funny voices, I would be more than happy to do hilarious,
I don't have a
entertaining
problem.
voices
I don't have a
instead
problem
of
doing
just having
voiceovers.
silence.
I don't have a problem doing voiceovers. It's every day.
Oh, I know. Just once in a while, like just tonight, not like tonight and tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Just tonight, because I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love being a dungeon master, and one of the things I really love about it is giving every character some kind of hilarious, funny voice and accent. So that's just it because I'm just gonna let my voice kind of trail off and get really quiet because I don't have any actual way to finish.
Oh, okay.
this
Well, the Dungeons and
conversation
Dragons
point.
is
Yeah, okay.
a good tabletop game if you really enjoy it. But if you lack an imagination, like some, it may not be up your alley.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, from like you were mentioning, from a stream perspective, because I do watch. It's actually getting to the point where I realize I watch more people play games than I actually play them myself.
I grew up that way though with my brother. I would watch him play games that I don't really care to play, but it
Yeah.
looks good.
Well, I understand that feeling, but I was the older brother, so I cheated. I just always was playing the games and not letting them play.
Cheated?
Oh yeah, I'll be honest, I'm a pretty corrupt guy. So it seemed like the right route to go. But from the perspective of right now, I just watched a playthrough of Yakuza 1, which was this PlayStation 2 game. It was a kind of open world in the early years of open world when GTA really made it big, where you play a former Yakuza member, and it's an exceptional story.
So is it an FPS type?
No, it's a third person, largely, actually almost entirely fighting based system. There's no real gunplay to it too, which kind of fits with the setting. But
wait, is there at least swords?
There are melee weapons. There are environmental weapons, like you can grab chairs and hit people with them.
Just to relate it to something that's a little more modern, because I remember you mentioned it was on the PlayStation 2. Is the combat system similar to like the Arkham Knights games or the new Mad Max game?
Yes. It's similar in the sense of it's a heavy reliance on melee combat, but you don't have the counter system like you do with Sleeping Dogs, which I highly recommend because it essentially is Hong Kong's Arkham.
I actually own Sleeping Dogs.
It's an exceptional game.
I haven't played it.
Damn.
I got it for free, but
you can't beat that.
Nope.
The reason I brought it up is because I went and they just released Yakuza 5 just released last month in the United States after being released in Japan for I want to say 4 years. And it's a series that picked up really well in Japan and is largely not known over here. So I bought it. Somebody said it was an exceptional game. And then I hoard out and went and tried to buy them all. And admittingly, I got 5. I got 4 both on the PlayStation Network, and I got 3 as a physical copy, which was $40 new, which is about right. They're all on the PlayStation 3, mind you, because they've been out for about 4 or 5 years in Japan.
Well, yeah, but
I tried to seek out 1 and 2 for the PlayStation 2. They are used $80 a piece for a PlayStation 2 game.
Is that good?
It's rare. There was not a whole lot of them released in North America. You can sometimes find them if you ever find them for less than like $80. You obviously got a deal, but it's largely impossible to get now. So I went and watched. I watched somebody do a playthrough, and that's really when I look at playthroughs, I look at things that I can still enjoy watching. And where it's something that I can still get the appreciation out of it watching it, that I would out of playing it.
Okay.
Where if you had say you were to stream a Midnight Club game or Forza 6 or 7 or whatever
a racing
now,
game.
yeah, I would be less interested in it personally because that's something you want to pick up, you want to play yourself. There's no real story. That is a hands-on experience. In that regard, the Telltale games are.
Oh man.
Really?
I love Telltale games. I really thought you were going towards Undertale. And I was just going to go all sour because...
No.
I like the soundtrack to Undertale, but the gameplay leaves me not wanting to watch anyone else play.
Here's the thing I noticed about Undertale, and this is something I'm a big fan of the previously recorded stream, which is pretty popular. I think most people will know that it's associated with Red Letter Media, and they recently did a couple of streams with Undertale. And this is something that they brought up, and I kind of realized why I'm not particularly interested in Undertale, because I never played the Earthbound series. I never played Mother 3 or any of those types of games. And it seems that, having read a lot about Undertale, most of the enjoyment comes from the nostalgia factor of the fact that the game is so similar to those older NES games.
Oh, so if I never played those old games...
then it's not going to be as appealing.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
There's... as someone who's not a fan of Undertale personally, I did try it and I was less than happy with it, but I loved Earthbound.
Okay.
It's more that it's an RPG that offers you options outside of it. It does have the nostalgia factor because it does look like a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo, more accurately, RPG. But the gameplay offers you non-aggressive ways to win conflicts, which I guess people appreciate. Now you can go and find a ton of people streaming it and doing playthroughs.
Oh yeah.
Well, I like challenges like that though in games.
Yeah, I find those. This was going back to the whole streaming, watching a stream versus playing a game.
Yes.
Undertale is a game that I'm not particularly interested in playing, but I enjoy watching a stream from quality streamers.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Whereas, for example, a game that I really enjoy playing and I really enjoy watching get played is something like Kerbal Space Program.
Yes, I could definitely understand that because there's just so much to it and so much you can learn from watching other people play. FTL was like that. Which
I'm with you there.
But
that's a great game to both watch and play. I really love FTL as well.
Yeah, and they're really interactive too because they allow input from the audience or tips and tricks and stuff, and it's not like a super fast pace where it's immediately done, it's over, and your comments missed and it's lost in the sea of comments. It's I'll pause it real quick, take a poll from the audience or look and read. Oh, okay, this is what everybody's saying. They're in a consensus. You know, I like stuff where I can push with the audience and move forward with them.
Oh, yeah.
Make decisions.
Audience interaction is a very big part. I very much dislike streamers who don't interact with the audience. I think if you're going to have an audience for what you're doing, it's worth it to interact with them. It makes the whole experience that much better. You're not just watching some guy play a video game, you're watching a guy play a video game who's also interacting with a community that he's trying to build up, which is one of the things that you're doing with your
But this
streaming.
is the thing, though. I don't really want to get too big because I see larger streamers where there's a large disconnect. Boom. It's that there's certain number thresholds, but when you get too many people on one side of the coin and not enough people on the interactive side, you lose that where you can kind of get to know your audience, where you interact. Yeah. But when there's a sea of people, let's say over 300 people, who knows 300 people they can continue to have a conversation with one-on-one. I mean.
Yeah, if we brought a fourth person in here, I wouldn't know how to talk anymore.
Yeah, it would be difficult.
This is literally my limit.
Well, no, this 3 people's fine, and that's why we wanted 3 people, because we have a conversation.
Yeah, right.
4 people gets a little.
It'd be a bit much.
One-sided.
I would agree.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things. I don't know if I were to push to become a full-time streamer, is if I would lose part of what I enjoy streaming for.
Possibly.
But I do see smaller streamers with larger followings that still can connect.
Yeah. I think one thing you have to remember is even if you have hundreds of people watching you, there's only going to be a small portion of them who are regular commenters.
And a part of that is, and I've seen it too, since I use a bot system which communicates with chat and lets them play interactive things with each other.
Yes.
Is I need to read chat to a point where it's not all towards me.
Yeah.
Like when I first started streaming, all the comments and chat was, "Hi, how are you today?" Or "This happened to me today." Now it's a community within the community where people know each other and they're there to talk to each other, not to me at all. They're just there to talk to each other. And I'm reading their chat, and sometimes I think that they're asking me the question or telling me, like, "Oh, so that's cool." And it wasn't towards me.
Okay. Yeah. I think that would also help with having a large number of people.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I wouldn't be too worried about getting too big for your britches. It'll be fine.
Well, that's
whatever
that's
happens.
That's one I wouldn't worry about trying to get too big.
Okay. Well,
it's like that bubble. You don't want to burst the bubble.
Well, considering that there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 views of this podcast for a couple of months, don't worry about it.
Speaking of being way too large for your britches, Star Wars, and would we like to transition to that?
Star Wars versus Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I was writing a transition there, and it didn't work out.
Well, who wants to talk about Star Wars?
I want to talk about Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Alvin and the Chipmunks 4.
It was the biggest block office ever for Alvin.
The road chip just came out.
Road Chip, I mean,
To
come on.
critical acclaim. Obviously, as everyone in this room and all of you out in the internet land know,
Oh, yeah.
it is the critical sequel to Alvin and the Chipmunks 3, Shipwrecked.
Well, come on, that was
Yes.
a classic right there.
Which itself is the follow-up to the once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-generation film, Alvin and the Chipmunks 2, The Squeakquel.
It was a squeakquel.
It was, aptly named, by the way. Aptly named. Which itself was, of course, the follow-up to Alvin and the Chipmunks.
If you guys can't tell, we're just laughing as he continues.
Yes.
Just
down this road.
I'm
Yes.
just remembering all the
movies were
joyous
so
laughter
bad.
I had with the movies.
The movies were so bad. It was actually funny at points, but it was just that bad. It had to be funny, and kids still want to watch it.
Well, because kids are dumb.
Well, that's been. Do you remember? What was that Saint Bernard movie? There was a set of movies. Beethoven.
Yes.
They did about 6 of those.
Yes.
I like the
And-
first Beethoven.
Yes, and so did other people, and that's why there was 5 more.
Well, they had to make 5 because the 5th one is called Beethoven's Fifth.
They had.
Okay.
And that was, it's like they weren't making the movies in order to make movies. They just wanted a movie called Beethoven's Fifth as the 5th movie. It's like it's exactly, it is perfectly in line with Quentin Tarantino because The Hateful Eight is his 8th film. He hasn't been making movies just so he can make movies. The whole point of his career has been to make a movie called The Hateful Eight and have it be his 8th film. That's his entire MO.
He accomplished that.
He hit
He
that
did.
on the head.
It's
Goals. You have to have goals.
Yes.
You gotta set yourself up for
well,
goals.
it's. I guess I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but to continue on Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes.
It stars. God, that's a rough sentence. It stars Jason Lee, who I really like him as an actor, not as a person. I don't have anything directly. I don't have anything against
You
him
suck
directly.
as a person.
I really love it when you're pretending to be someone
Yeah,
else.
it's-
Please do that
I
more
feel the
often.
same way about him that I feel about my wife. I'm happier when they're pretending to be someone else. So this is the 4th movie he's done, and I understand. I'm sure he won't outright say it, but it's for the paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Well-
who owns Alvin and the Chipmunks, but I'm
You know,
sure.
Isn't it like Disney or Pixar or something?
See, I'm that lost. I thought it was Hanna-Barbera for the longest time. So I
Who's
literally.
Hanna-Barbera?
Hanna-Barbera is responsible for the Jetsons, the Flintstones, the Hair Bears.
60s cartoon.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Scooby-Doo and
Where are
the
you?
gang. They're yeah, Hanna-Barbera is I don't even know who owns them. Viacom.
No idea. Maybe.
But
Maybe Viacom owns a lot. Maybe Time Warner by now. I don't
It
know.
might be
It's-
Time Warner.
I'm not. It actually that one makes sense. But they Jason Lee was in Mallrats. Would be I would argue his most critically acclaimed role. He basically worked with Kevin Smith quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kevin Smith's.
and did My Name's Earl on whatever channel that was on for a while.
NBC, I think.
He's yeah.
CBS.
I think you were right in
big ones.
NBC, but
One of those big broadcasters. But yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah, I mean it was a show that went on for quite a few seasons with Ethan Suplee, who was also involved with Kevin Smith quite a bit. But it's I know he has the ability to be funny, but someone keeps waving a check at him and says,
Well,
"Just
you need
one
money.
more."
Everyone needs money.
You do. I mean, that's pretty much why he's in that profession. Maybe he's got some rough bills to pay, and he looks at Alvin and the Chipmunks and says, I can do Alvin and the Chipmunks 5, Shut Up and Jive, or whatever the next one's going to be.
Yes.
I don't know any chipmunk puns to write it.
I'm getting things like Nickelodeon might own it. When I'm reading.
Which is
Okay.
owned by Viacom, I believe. But yeah, I either way, I see this getting at least 2 more movies because I think you're right. We joke, but I think you're right, and I think it was very profitable, and I think it still has been very profitable
But
for them.
that's
Well-
the crazy part.
Well, it will be. And it's going to be like the Police Academy movies. They kept making them and making them until finally the revenue was lower than the cost, and then now we've had to wait like 20 years, and they're working on a remake or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little upsetting, but yeah, I mean, if there's money there, think about it. You release it around Christmas, and apparently Christmas is a big movie season that I've never understood because right around then, the last thing I want to do is shuffle into a building full of everyone and their relatives and see if everyone can shut the fuck up for an entire movie. Are we allowed to swear on this stream?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
There's a total. All right, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the road trip, netted a domestic total of 75 million
And they probably made
600,000.
So that's net profit?
as of January 10th,
that's which one is that?
the road trip, the newest
the road
one.
trip? Yeah. Well, they had a lot of competition, but you figure it probably cost them like $30 million to make.
Yeah.
They're gonna make their money, and there's gonna be an Alvin and the Chipmunks 5.
It's ridiculous, though.
I've never passionately defended that, but it's going to happen. But you figure right around the winter, it is a lot of the in-laws are in, and you have your cousins or whatever younger people, where it's a nice, easy, safe movie you take them to see, and it's
It
not
was
gonna,
ranked 4 in the franchise.
Four.
for the 4th best Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. That's comforting. You take it, and it's they're not going to throw you any curveballs and throw you any real adult situations.
It was
It's gonna
ranked
be-
10 in comedy genre.
That is upsetting. What were the other options? Alvin and the Chipmunks could be 10.
TV cartoon live action, family talking animal live action.
That's very specific list.
Talking animal live action.
That is literally a very specific list.
I'm looking. It's difficult to figure out.
Okay. But speaking of 4th best in the series,
Oh, here we go.
Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Wild Hogs, We're the Millers, Identity Thief. Wow.
All right, I'm going to drink gasoline till I forget this list. Yes,
no.
Star Wars.
Pee Wee's Big Adventures ranked 24 overall
Pee-wee's Big Adventure is exceptional.
It
for
is.
comedy,
Tell them Large Marge sent
but
you.
it's ranked 24.
I'm trying
And
to
the
use
road
the
trip's ranked 10.
phone!
The Road Trip's ranked 10.
I know. Well,
and Pee Wee's Big Adventures ranked 24.
well, that was whoever the hell put this together.
IMDb?
Is that like
Oh,
actual,
Box Office Mojo.
Is that ratings or profit?
rankings.
Well, how is it ranked?
No,
That doesn't
this
tell
is,
me anything.
This is lifetime gross.
Okay, so it's the amount of... Just because it makes a lot of money doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, it's based
No,
on...
but it literally means it's made the 10th most money of this list, which is upsetting.
Oh, God.
But it
Yeah.
seems to be family comedies.
Family
so-
comedy as well. If you gotta
Okay.
make money where you can, I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking of
That's-
making money
Star
where you
Wars,
can,
actually, I enjoyed a lot.
Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
I enjoyed it.
Now, this is pod racing.
I saw a tweet from someone imposing as George Lucas and said it could use 10 more hours of pod racing.
It could. That would have to be my biggest criticism because pod racing has, and I mean, I'm being absolutely serious right now. Pod racing is really integral to the understanding of the Star Wars universe. I mean, wouldn't you agree? It's one of the core pillars of the Star Wars mythos.
I was not introduced into pod racing until episode 1.
I'd think
Exactly. It began with the very first one.
it technically is responsible for Darth Vader, and I know that sounds like a stretch, but it's correct.
Well, yeah, because Anakin Skywalker never would have known about the midichlorians in his blood if he hadn't seen the future while pod racing.
And he may not have survived attacking the Trade Federation ships if he weren't so proficient with pod racing.
Didn't
Exactly.
he also fall in love?
He did
No, he didn't.
He did fall in love.
You're thinking of Battlestar Galactica. It didn't happen in the series.
It was really more of a reaction to his hatred of sand, if anything. For those of you who can't see, which would be all of you, Ray has just completely finished his beer
I can't.
in a
think
raging
about this.
attempt to forget about the Star Wars prequels. But no, clearly...
Working so hard at it.
Clearly, Anakin was never... This has been the whole subtext of the prequels. Anakin was never truly in love with Padme. He just liked how Padme was smooth. Unlike sand. Which is rough, and it gets everywhere.
He's not wrong. Natalie Portman's smooth.
Natalie Portman is smooth.
It's
But she couldn't have sex with Anakin because she was a senator.
Yep, senators can't do that. You
Senator,
can't.
it's against galactic law.
So it's just like a nun.
That's what George Lucas thinks.
Yeah, apparently he never read about any senators from pretty much the start of democracy.
Yes.
But you know, Jorge does what he wants, and it's in that respect. Actually, this brings an interesting point up. Do you feel Star Wars is a stronger franchise without George Lucas's involvement now?
Right now, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because now the criticism's gone and there's more creativity built about.
Is there more creativity?
I'm not sure if... I don't think J.J. Abrams is surrounded by yes men and sycophants the same way George Lucas was during the prequels.
I would absolutely agree with you on that.
I think there's at least one person during the production of The Force Awakens who was willing to tell J.J. Abrams, no, that's a bad idea, let's go with this better idea. And for the prequels, no one was willing to tell George Lucas that.
Well, it's also J.J. Abrams is making it for Disney. Lucas was entirely independent before they were bought out, and that oversight is necessary.
Yeah, but he also made some really bad calls.
He made J.J. or George Lucas?
George Lucas.
Yeah, George Lucas.
What do you think?
I wasn't sure if you were because we actually haven't discussed Star Wars all that much.
Well, all right.
On our own.
One thing I would have liked to see is them not tell us right away that was Han's son. I would have liked to find it out like right by when he meets up with him on the bridge.
You know, honestly, I like the fact that we were told right away or relatively quickly because I've already seen Empire. I already know what it's like to have that big familial twist to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was needed for this movie because that's...
Well, not like the I am your father at moment, more like that's my son. Like, I don't want everybody to know my son's evil thing.
It was a bit... I mean, I had already kind of figured out before the film was released. I think most people have.
Yeah, but that's when you read into it. When you're a new moviegoer going into the series and stuff, you don't really want to know everything.
I worked really hard to avoid reading anything about it. I didn't even really watch the trailers for it. So, Kylo, and there's going to be spoilers in this.
We're way past that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Han Solo lives through the end of the film and is going to be starring in the next 12 Star Wars films.
Yes, it's going to be...
Actually, it's possible he could still live.
No, if I know...
Did you not see the movie?
No, it's possible. See, he has the Force on his side.
But he's not... Oh my God... I'm telling you, Han Solo is not Force sensitive. We've been over this before, okay? I don't care how many times you point to that scene in Jedi where he hangs off the skiff without any kind of ropes except when they were added digitally in with the new edition. Han Solo is not Force sensitive.
I forgot.
No, but I'm saying that it's a movie twist they could add. If they needed to.
They could go for it, but from a behind the scenes perspective, I was amazed they got Harrison Ford back on board for this movie.
Yeah,
because Harrison Ford at this
old.
point hates Star Wars. I think he genuinely, absolutely dislikes it.
It's funny because he shows a lot of disgust in the movie too.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about him. But I think at this point, Harrison Ford's been in a ton of stuff since then.
Really?
And I actually will always, I'm a little biased. I'll always remember him as Indiana Jones before I'll remember him as Han Solo.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's my own personal. I enjoyed the Indiana Jones films more.
You don't remember him as the president of the United States?
Yes, in Air Force One I do.
Exactly. Get off my plane.
He was. He's actually really great in a lot of things, and I think that's part of why he dislikes it. Is that what you want to be known as? The guy who you were Han Solo 45 years ago, nearly.
Yeah, but some people ride those kind of things where they have that stardom.
Yeah, but a great deal of the actors and actresses. Well, I shouldn't even say actresses. There really was one actress. Went on to do other things. Mark Hamill went on to do a ton of stuff, and his voice acting works exceptional.
Oh yeah. He skips.
It's what?
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying either.
He skips from regular show. He
skips. I didn't know that.
You didn't know?
Oh, he is the character Skips.
Yeah.
I heard he skips like. It's a thing that everyone knows. He just skips around.
That Skips is the one who skips. He's the voice of Skips.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
That's why he calls Skips.
I'm sure the pumpkin pie bear.
He used to be called Walks, but now he's called Skips.
That all sounds fake to me. Is that correct?
Yes, that is regular show canon.
That is okay.
Regular show is a good show.
I'm not
it was
familiar with it in the slightest.
Mark Hamill voices a Yeti.
Well, I like that. That's ironic.
A muscular Yeti.
Who
is talented and a handyman.
And immortal.
Well, I don't want to spoil that.
Well,
I just did.
Kind of dig where they're going with that, actually.
Yes, he's immortal. Space babies gave him immortality.
Yep.
He's also, I would argue, the best Joker we've ever had, period. Including live-action renditions of it. As much as I like Cesar Romero and his paint over the mustache attitude, he went on to do quite a bit of great voice acting. He's also in, I believe, Green Arrow or The Flash. One of the two is the Trickster right now.
I think it's The Flash.
I saw The Flash. Who is this?
He's the Trickster. Mark Hamill.
Oh, that's him?
That's it. See? And right there. That sums it up. That sums up every time I found out he was in something as, whoa, that's him.
That is him. All right. Yeah, I didn't put two and two together.
He's went on to have his own career after that. He was also in Wing Commander, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Never saw it.
It's a series of games. There's like 6 of them.
Yeah, there's something like 6.
Is it like a voice actor?
90s video games.
No, it was it was when there were FMVs in video games.
Full motion video.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
That was a big
when they started doing like Sega CD and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, is he in Star Citizen?
Wait, is it?
I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the same kind of scenes that Red Alert had?
Yes, yes, exactly. Okay. Where it was actual live action video that they'd film and then throw in between missions.
I really liked that.
Wing Commander was, as I remember it, like 30% gameplay and like 70% FMVs.
There was quite a
but
bit,
it was good for it.
Yes.
Point is, everyone went on to do something. Carrie Fisher went on to write and direct and produce. Actually, I'm not sure on the directing part, but definitely produce. Harrison.
She
directed cocaine into her nose.
Well, she did a bang up job of it.
And you got money, man. You got money.
I mean, a ton of disposable income apparently, but they all look at it and they look at it fondly. I don't think Harrison Ford does. I think he looks at it and says, "I've done a ton of stuff from him. I've done dramas. I've done action. He's an accomplished actor after that, and I think
would you say Keanu Reeves is a good actor?
all right, here it comes.
Oh no!
I didn't realize this would be a 4-hour topic, but I guess I'm calling into work tomorrow. No. Keanu Reeves is a decent actor. He's a competent actor. I think.
Does he have like a certain role he has to play then?
Yes.
Okay. I know kung fu.
He does not emote well, and that
he can't use smiley faces.
He's a decent actor.
Women love smiley faces.
That's why I said competent actor, though. He's a competent actor in the way of, when was the last thing you saw where Arnold Schwarzenegger cries?
All right, Arnold himself is not.
Wasn't that like the last movie he did?
I don't know.
Didn't he just do like that? Was like a bus shoot him up sheriff guy?
The Town?
Yeah.
That might not be The Town. I might have
No.
made that up.
No, like, I thought you were talking about that's the town.
No,
also.
the stand or the last stand.
Last
or something
Stand,
like
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah. But my point is, Keanu Reeves does good when you don't give him any emotions to have.
He does an emoticon well.
And that's why I'll say he's a competent action star. I guess actor would be the wrong way to put it. He's a competent action star. He's not a great actor. I loved him in John Wick. Absolutely,
perfect in
absolutely
John Wick.
adored that movie.
But again, emotionless.
Yes. Well, anger and shooting is an emotion. He was great in Constantine, even though I think Constantine was largely poorly written and got too far away from the character.
Yeah,
of
but
John
he followed around
Constantine.
his character, though. He followed his character the way I wanted him to.
Yeah, no, he did. He did all right with how the script was written, but he definitely. And then he was in the classic thespian novel, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yes.
I believe I think it was Patrick Stewart who said the finest thing ever committed to film.
Well, I believe so. Although you might actually be confusing that with Stanley Kubrick. I believe it was Stanley Kubrick who said that because Stanley Kubrick is so well known for his love of Bill and Ted.
Yes, he
Of
is.
course.
He has a large full back tattoo of both Bill
Well,
and Ted.
well, that's
he
pretty
did
extreme.
when he was alive.
It might still be there.
It's been preserved.
If he's been embalmed, it's there.
Oh, it's possible.
I
I don't exactly know the status of Stanley Kubrick's body, so I apologize.
Are you
to all
sure?
of you here.
Are you sure?
I apologize to the listening audience.
No, neither did he.
Pardon me, I just burped. I don't know if that was caught. Well,
Absolutely.
we'll listen to this
Literally
later.
everything we've said over the last hour is gone.
Yeah.
I
The
don't know.
mic's
okay.
not like there's no noise gate, so whatever you guys are doing or hearing, you're gonna hear.
Oh, so the squeaky chair was probably okay. Well, it adds character. We'll
It
just
does
say
have
that.
character, yes.
It's like it's like when you're ugly and your face sucks, and you say, "Oh, it gives me character."
Necessarily
That's
think
what I
See
say.
these pimples here? Yeah, these.
Yeah,
nah.
every time I look in the mirror, it's like, wow, my face is just covered in character.
covered in character.
Yeah.
Is that what you say to all your victims? I mean, dates.
Oh, that was kind of a low blow. But okay, so
It's gonna be that kind of podcast.
Keanu Reeves, all right, decent actor, but he is no Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen.
I love these deep sides.
because I'll defend him because he's not. I think we're all not putting enough blame on George Lucas. I think he's a decent enough actor. I think there's just nothing. What do you do with that script? What do you do? Have you seen the behind the scenes of when he directs Hayden Christensen?
I do have to give it to you because considering 90% of that was done on green screen, there's nothing you can work with.
It's
Let me
rough.
interact with nothing around me.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's actors in there that are good that just had nothing at all, was boring. I can't speak to Jimmy Schmidt's professional career. Neither can he, but when you've got help me out here, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is he played by?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. When you have Ewan McGregor, who's a fairly good dramatic actor,
Yeah.
and he's just okay in that movie,
Yeah.
it's the writing. He gave
was
us
a big part of it.
110, but when you have Natalie Portman, who my understanding is she's a good actress,
Not really. Have you ever seen V for Vendetta?
I think that was a bad movie.
I think it was actually a decent movie that was dramatically dragged down by Natalie Portman's horrible performance.
Whenever I ask, give me a good Natalie Portman movie, the two people bring up are Leon the Professional, which was done when she was like 7.
Which doesn't count.
And yeah, Jean Reno basically carried that. And the other one is Black Swan, which I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it either.
Actually, I did like Black Swan, so
Okay.
I can attest to that. It's like, she actually did play a really good role.
Okay.
But then she did Garden
But she
State.
did some
Yes.
pretty garbage stuff, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said Garbage State for a second. I was like,
You might
Actually, I'd be amazed if somebody didn't review it that way. Zach Braff probably shouldn't direct anything ever again, in my opinion. But Hayden Christensen, I haven't seen anything he's been in since then, and I'm not sure if it's a Star Wars curse for him.
He's been in things, and although I haven't seen them, what he's been in has universally been panned.
It's unfortunate.
I don't remember the
What
name.
does panned mean?
Panned.
I'm going to have to ask because I don't even... If I don't know it, someone else doesn't know it.
Okay, universally panned means that it's been put in a baking sheet and put into an oven set for 350 degrees and let sit in there for 20 to 25 minutes until it rises.
Ooh.
So, what you're saying is...
Panned means dist.
Yeah, he was saying his performance was very yeasty.
Yes.
It's-
Just like your ex-wife's vagina.
Hence the X.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Well, no, I think the triple homicide is the reason why she's X now.
They're still talking about Hayden Christensen.
Well,
You know, if you actually get a wife, this is going to be a problem.
what is that? What is that?
you can never delete anything from the internet. Also, we are approaching the 1 hour mark. Just in case anyone's interested.
A little bit.
I mean, approaching means we're not there yet.
Okay.
No, we're about 5 minutes out.
Exactly. I just wanted to make sure that way we're not like going to go off on a huge tangent and end up having this like a 20-hour podcast, which we could do.
I'll just cut it up.
Okay. Just like Ray's ex-wife.
I didn't even go there. All right, so Ryan said he didn't want to go political, but how can you avoid Donald Trump?
That's true.
I mean, have you seen his hair or lack of?
I think it's real. I just think he has like a crown where the top of his head is bald, and then he just grows it out really, really long.
Wait, are you
from the
saying
edges.
he goes home and wears a crown all day?
No, crown
Well,
is in like when
I
a
believe
guy
that
is
regardless.
when a guy is balding and most of his head is bald, but he just has the hair around the back of his head. That's called the crown.
Well, it's the crown of his head.
Yeah, the crown of his head. So he just grows it out from the crown and puts it over his head. That's what I think he does.
I said lack thereof.
Well, yes, but it's his real hair. It's just not growing out of the places where he wants people to think it's growing out of.
He has a really, really receded hairline.
Extremely, like all the way to the back of his skull. Now, here's the thing about Donald Trump. Fuck him.
Well, this is a interesting comment I heard. I don't really follow news as much as I should.
Mm-hmm.
But someone had told me he made a comment that he got a small loan of $1 million from his dad.
That was a while ago.
And I thought to myself, is that really a loan?
Well, consider that he's worth about $9 to $10 billion, and he is so thoroughly out of touch with basic humanity
worth
that to
about
him,
maybe 20,000, maybe. I don't know.
no, to him $1 million is a
Like-
small amount of money.
I don't know. That's an expensive mouse right there.
That's a $10 mouse.
Oh,
But it does this.
I have
Click, click, click.
I have awful things then.
No, to Donald Trump, $1 million is a small amount of money, which tells you exactly where his mindset is in terms of what is and is not a significant amount of money. The guy's worth between $9 and $10 billion. He doesn't understand how to manage money. That's why he has lost money on casinos.
Wait, so he actually goes and bets in casinos?
No, he
No. He
owns.
owns casinos.
Yeah.
And he has bankrupted casinos 3 times because of horrible mismanagement. The fact
Wait, are you
is,
saying because of too many payouts?
because he is not the great businessman he claims to be. That's why. He's actually a pretty terrible businessman. The fact is, if he just took the money his father gave him and conservatively invested it in the economy, he'd be worth more money than he is right now.
But he just plays fast and hard.
He plays fast and loose, largely with other people's money. And that's why, although he has never personally gone bankrupt, companies that he's owned have gone bankrupt.
He just basically spends everybody else's money and bankrupts them and says, time to move on.
That's why he's the leading Republican candidate.
Yeah.
Well, it is actually, he would not be spending his money. It would be the American people's money.
Yeah.
I've got a theory on why he's leading the Republican Party right now.
Do tell.
And I think it's the one thing I will say in his favor, although it's many stupid things he says, many, I think, largely ignorant or uninformed things he says. I think people see him as a guy who at least speaks his mind.
Yeah.
Now, granted, every time, the more he speaks his mind, the more I realize I don't want him near the White House.
Yeah.
Because I realize, okay, it's not somebody's feeding him lines and he's fucking it up. That guy just doesn't have it all together.
He's speaking his mind, and his mind is a horrible, terrible, dark, nasty, disgusting, hateful place.
Yes, but I think that and his ridiculous promises are literally what's doing it. Because
Yes.
you are dealing with, you're dealing with a lot of weak candidates.
Oh, yeah.
I largely don't like anyone running, but under either Republican or Democratic Party, I appreciate some things Bernie Sanders has in mind for the country.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he'll actually be able to do it, I'm not sure.
Not as much as he wants to, but in my opinion, it's better to have a president who wants to do too much good and can't get it done than a president who wants to do stupid shit like build a giant border wall with Mexico and stop Muslims from coming into the country. That's just stupid shit.
FDR was actually I read a statistic because Obama I recently signed another executive order regarding gun control, but I'm like, well, he seems like he's signing an awful lot. So I went and looked into it, and actually, do you know the president who did sign the most executive orders? FDR.
Mm-hmm.
The closest we've probably come to a socialist president in the country.
He also did serve 4 terms, though, so it makes sense that he would sign more.
He did,
give a
and
longer period, you can actually do more.
But is it like more per term than any other president?
No, it's more during his
Okay.
his time, but quite a bit more. I believe 2,000 more than the guy in second place.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But he made a lot of changes.
Yes.
He did serve during a time when there was a lot wrong.
Yeah.
So I think Bernie Sanders could do a bit in that respect. I think his idealism is very reminiscent of FDR or of Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. It's whether that's going to shake in a modern presidency.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see it happening.
Well, somebody's got to
Okay.
win.
Well, yeah. It's not going to be a tie.
It could be independent, but
Yeah, and we know it's going to go to one of the 2 houses.
yes, I highly doubt the independent. Couldn't even name an independent candidate at this point.
It's also tied into money and stuff, too, because...
I can
Unfortunately.
name Gary Johnson. He's running as an independent.
I see.
Gary Johnson's he's a libertarian running as independent right now.
And he might be a good candidate, but the fact that I don't know who he is, it could speak volumes about me. It could speak volumes about him.
He's a libertarian,
There's
which means you'll
campaign,
probably agree with half of what he says and vehemently disagree with the other half.
The Ron Paul route.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
It's
All right, I wanted to discuss computers real quick.
Okay.
I see that the development for new motherboards and processors are not going in a forward momentum direction. I feel like software now is trying to catch up, and hardware is just kind of staying where it's at. Because I don't see a lot more as far as more processing power beyond like the i7 from Intel coming out.
wouldn't hardware have to move with software's software trajectory though? I mean, wouldn't you? I guess this is one I'm not incredibly informed with. When you say it's moving slower, can you elaborate a bit?
Well, when I was a wee lad,
Yes.
I had it's like an ever-changing technology tree of computers, where now it's more based around mobile technology is evolving faster than a desktop, a home technology,
Yes.
where they just want to try to make things smaller and smaller faster, but they're still not delving onto the consumer side of the computers. Because right now I see phones getting faster processors and chips and upgraded battery lives and different sizes.
Yeah.
But with a desktop computer, the standard i7 has been the same for the ideal processor for like 2 years now. Just about 2 years.
That sounds about right.
And a processor evolution has been faster than that in the previous years.
Do you think it's a lack of competition, because when we were growing up, there were a ton of computer companies really making and selling these all-in-one computers, not all-in-one, but selling these packages to families, and now it's much more limited.
It might be developed around the fact that companies are hard up for making their own stuff, or they've been sold off, or now it's just owned by a conglomerate kind of deal.
Ovaltine. Why do they call it Ovaltine? They should call it Roundtine. The cup is round. The jar is round. Just call it Roundtine.
What?